Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth and surrounds the South Pole region. It is the fifth largest continent in the world. It remains a unique continent with no native population. There are no specific countries in Antarctica, but 7 countries claim different regions of it. The nations include Argentina, Chile, the United Kingdom, Norway, France, Australia, and New Zealand. This video is set to explain fascinating discoveries in Antarctica that could change history. Numbers 5 and 9 will shock you. Make sure you watch until the end to get the best of the disturbing discoveries we picked for you. Hello and welcome to KYC News. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. The continent of Antarctica makes up most of the Antarctic region. The Antarctic is a cold, remote area in the southern hemisphere encompassed by the Antarctic Convergence. The Antarctic Convergence is an uneven line of latitude where cold, northward-flowing Antarctic waters meet the warmer waters of the world's oceans. The Antarctic covers approximately 20% of the southern hemisphere. Antarctica is the 5th largest continent in terms of total area. It is larger than both Oceania and Europe. Antarctica is a unique continent in that it does not have a native population. There are no countries in Antarctica, although 7 nations claim different parts of it: New Zealand, Australia, France, Norway, the United Kingdom, Chile, and Argentina. The Antarctic also includes island territories within the Antarctic Convergence. The islands of the Antarctic region are South Orkney Islands, South Shetland Islands, South Georgia, and the South Sandwich Islands, all claimed by the United Kingdom, Peter I Island and Bouvet Island, claimed by Norway, Heard and McDonald Islands, claimed by Australia, and Scott Island and the Balleny Islands, claimed by New Zealand. The Antarctic ice sheet dominates the region. It is the largest single piece of ice on Earth. This ice sheet even extends beyond the continent when snow and ice are at their most extreme. The ice surface dramatically grows in size from about 3 million square kilometers at the end of summer to about 19 million square kilometers by winter. Ice sheet growth mainly occurs at the coastal ice shelves, primarily the Ross Ice Shelf and the Ron Ice Shelf. Ice shelves are floating sheets of ice that are connected to the continent. Glacial ice moves from the continent's interior to these lower elevation ice shelves at rates of 10 to 1,000 meters per year. Antarctica has a number of mountain summits, including the Transantarctic Mountains, which divide the continent into eastern and western regions. A few of these summits reach altitudes of more than 4,500 meters. The elevation of the Antarctic ice sheet itself is about 2,000 meters and reaches 4,000 meters above sea level near the center of the continent. Without any ice, Antarctica would emerge as a giant peninsula and archipelago of mountainous islands, known as Lesser Antarctica, and a single large landmass about the size of Australia, known as Greater Antarctica. These regions have different geologies. Greater Antarctica, or East Antarctica, is composed of older, igneous, and metamorphic rocks. Lesser Antarctica, or West Antarctica, is made up of younger, volcanic, and sedimentary rock. Lesser Antarctica, in fact, is part of the Ring of Fire, a tectonically active area around the Pacific Ocean. Tectonic activity is the interaction of plates on Earth's crust, often resulting in earthquakes and volcanoes. Mount Erebus, located on Antarctica's Ross Island, is the southernmost active volcano on Earth. The majority of the islands and archipelagos of Lesser Antarctica are volcanic and heavily glaciated. They are also home to a number of high mountains. The oceans surrounding Antarctica provide an important physical component of the Antarctic region. The waters surrounding Antarctica are relatively deep, reaching 4,000 to 5,000 meters in depth. For many European and North American powers, Antarctica represented the last great frontier for human exploration. Fueled by nationalist pride and supported by advances in science and navigation, many explorers took on the race for the Antarctic. Explorers first skimmed the boundaries of Antarctica on sea voyages. By the early 20th century, explorers started to traverse the interior of Antarctica. The aim of these expeditions was often more competitive than scientific. Explorers wanted to win the race to the South Pole more than understand Antarctica's environment. Because early explorers confronted extreme obstacles and debilitating conditions, this period of time became known as the Heroic Age. Roald Amundsen, Robert Falcon Scott, Edward Adrian Wilson, and Ernest Shackleton all competed in the race to the South Pole. In 1911, Amundsen, of Norway, and Scott, of the United Kingdom, began expeditions with the aim of becoming the first man to reach the South Pole. Amundsen's team set out from the Bay of Whales in the Ross Sea on October 19th, while Scott set out from Ross Island on November 1st. Each team used different methods, with drastically different levels of success. Amundsen's team relied on dog sleds and skiing to reach the pole, covering as much as 64 kilometers per day. Scott's team, on the other hand, pulled their sleighs by hand, collecting geological samples along the way. Amundsen's team became the first to reach the South Pole on December 15th. The team was healthy and successfully made the journey out of Antarctica. Scott's team reached the South Pole on January 17, 1912, suffering from malnutrition, snow blindness, exhaustion, and injury. They all died on their journey home. Hoping to one-up his predecessors, Shackleton, of the United Kingdom, attempted the first transcontinental crossing of Antarctica in 1914. Shackleton planned the trip by using two ships, the Aurora and the Endurance, at opposite ends of the continent. Aurora would sail to the Ross Sea and deposit supplies. On the opposite side, Endurance would sail through the Weddell Sea to reach the continent. Once there, the team would march to the pole with dog teams, dispose of extra baggage, and use supplies left by Aurora to reach the other end of the continent. The plan failed. The Endurance became frozen in the pack ice of the Weddell Sea. The pack ice crushed and sunk the ship. Shackleton's team survived for roughly 4 months on the ice by setting up makeshift camps. Their food sources were leopard seals, fish, and, ultimately, their sled dogs. Once the ice floe broke, expedition members used lifeboats to reach safer land and were picked up on Elephant Island 22 months after they'd set out on their journey. Although some of the crew sustained injuries, they all survived. Antarctica has an extremely cold, dry climate. Winter temperatures along Antarctica's coast generally range from -10 degrees Celsius to -30 degrees Celsius. During the summer, coastal areas hover around 0 degrees Celsius but can reach temperatures as high as 9 degrees Celsius. In the mountainous, interior regions, temperatures are much colder, dropping below -60 degrees Celsius in winter and -20 degrees Celsius in summer. In 1983, Russia's Vostok research station measured the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth, -89.2 degrees Celsius. An even lower temperature was measured using satellite data taken in 2010, -93.2 degrees Celsius. Precipitation in the Antarctic is hard to measure. It always falls as snow. Antarctica's interior is believed to receive only 50 to 100 millimeters of water, in the form of snow, every year. The Antarctic desert is one of the driest deserts in the world. The Antarctic region has an important role in global climate processes. It is an integral part of the Earth's heat balance. The heat balance, also called the energy balance, is the relationship between the amount of solar heat absorbed by Earth's atmosphere and the amount of heat reflected back into space. Antarctica has a larger role than most continents in maintaining Earth's heat balance. Ice is more reflective than land or water surfaces. The massive Antarctic ice sheet reflects a large amount of solar radiation away from Earth's surface. As global ice cover, ice sheets and glaciers decreases, the reflectivity of Earth's surface also decreases. This allows more incoming solar radiation to be absorbed by the Earth's surface, causing an unequal heat balance linked to global warming, the current period of climate change. Interestingly, NASA scientists have found that climate change has actually caused more ice to form in some parts of Antarctica. They say this is happening because of new climate patterns caused by climate change. These patterns create a strong wind pattern called the polar vortex. Polar vortex winds lower temperatures in the Antarctic and have been building in strength in recent decades, as much as 15% since 1980. This effect is not seen throughout the Antarctic, however, and some parts are experiencing ice melt. The waters surrounding Antarctica are a key part of the ocean conveyor belt, a global system in which water circulates around the globe based on density and on currents. The cold waters surrounding Antarctica, known as the Antarctic bottom water, are so dense that they push against the ocean floor. The Antarctic bottom water causes warmer waters to rise or upwell. Antarctic upwelling is so strong that it helps move water around the entire planet. This movement is aided by strong winds that circumnavigate Antarctica. Without the aid of the oceans around Antarctica, the Earth's waters would not circulate in a balanced and efficient manner. Flora and fauna. Lichens, mosses, and terrestrial algae are among the few species of vegetation that grow in Antarctica. More of this vegetation grows in the northern and coastal regions of Antarctica, while the interior has little, if any, vegetation. The ocean, however, teems with fish and other marine life. In fact, the waters surrounding Antarctica are among the most diverse on the planet. Upwelling allows phytoplankton and algae to flourish. Thousands of species, such as krill, feed on the plankton. Fish and a large variety of marine mammals thrive in the cold Antarctic waters. Blue, fin, humpback, right, mink, sei, and sperm whales have healthy populations in Antarctica. One of the apex, or top, predators in Antarctica is the leopard seal. The leopard seal is one of the most aggressive of all marine predators. This 3-meter, 400-kilogram animal has unusually long, sharp teeth, which it uses to tear into prey such as penguins and fish. The most familiar animal of Antarctica is probably the penguin. They have adapted to the cold, coastal waters. Their wings serve as flippers as they fly through the water in search of prey such as squid and fish. Their feathers retain a layer of air, helping them keep warm in the freezing water.